I'd like to share some comments on 6 years as board president. And to begin, I will reiterate a variation of a remark I made at our last board of directors meeting. This is not my last CHC annual meeting. However, today's annual meeting does mark the end of my second term as board president, and as one chapter closes and another begins for my personal involvement on this board, I would like to share a few summary thoughts with you. I joked with Nancy that I wanted to write a Common App personal statement for this meeting. That's a college application joke, of course, so here it is. You, the collective you who are the staff of this agency and who delivered the most compassionate care related to hearing loss that I can imagine, you taught our deaf twins to hear and to speak. Years later, it turns out that you also taught our kids lots of indirect life lessons too, about coping, compensating, sharing, and enjoying life. And for all of this, Sherry and I will be forever grateful. So, a couple of years after our then little kids were making nice progress, I joined the board to give back to CHC and to help make sure that CHC could be there for the next family that presented with a hearing loss just like ours. And I think that was the year 2000. Almost 8 years later, I think, I accepted Joe Lobato's lunch invitation to talk about the board presidency. I can't recall exactly why I said yes to this role. It seemed like a natural progression as my involvement in this board had gradually increased. And as it turns out, I like to use my standard skill sets in different ways because I feel like that helps my capabilities grow. And I don't mind adding new skill sets, which I don't already have. Fundraising, and budget balancing, meeting planning. So, since I am somewhat shallow, I viewed this role as something that would be good for me. More importantly, as far as I was concerned, this would solidify and complete my plan to give back. So 2 3-year terms as board president later, my view has somewhat shifted. I can now purposely state how I have benefited, but first let me tell you what I have learned. The most powerful boards achieve by doing, and this board gets a lot of stuff done. A few highlights that leap to mind over the last several years include changing our name, raising over $1 million as we celebrated our 100-year heritage, expanding our clinical offerings, contracting our real estate footprint, altering our fiscal year calendar, debating our independence, and confronting a myriad of other issues. How was all of this possible? The secret is to have a talented, generous, and diverse board that represents an array of abilities and experiences, finance, law, insurance, marketing, real estate, and of course hearing and healthcare too, and much more. This board has given so much. Here I am referencing the time, attention, input, counsel, ideas, energy, and certainly money that this board has given. The gifts in all forms from members of this board are incredibly generous in every category. And the fact that I happen to be board president during all of those milestones, chair the meetings, stand at the podium, that's all part of my lucky fortune and good timing. So let me also comment about the staff. To suggest that the staff is incredibly dedicated is actually an understatement. A mentor of mine once told me that if you want something done, assign it to a busy person. My corollary to that is that if you want to make a difference, associate with dedicated people. Just look at how many people and their significant others whom you have impacted. Helping people is not, as it turns out, a 9-to-5 job. It's Saturday mornings and late nights and not pausing until the help that's needed is delivered. Associating with people who are highly engaged in what they do is really motivating and impressive. The difference between a a for-profit entity and a nonprofit agency sometimes is that failure is not an option. For many people, CHC is the only option. That means that you can't say no, you can't deny services, you can't submit when the obstacles loom. If we deliver a necessary service that can't generate offsetting revenue, well, we must find a different source of funding. That which doesn't kill you makes you stronger, they say. It's not always easy. We've seen some challenges, competition, consultants, cash flow, and we've made some difficult decisions. Guiding us at every turn, we've placed the agency's mission first, our agency staff second, and everything else a very distant third. The legacy of tradition and reputation are important, but the people who maintain those two ideals are our true assets. In my view, ensuring that the assets are protected and best positioned to deliver compassionate care and ready to assist the next family who crosses the threshold is really the main purpose of this board. So I will close with another Common App reference via a comment about extracurriculars. Students engage in extracurriculars to make their applications look better. Shallow grown-ups, like me, do so only to derive pleasure or offset a favor or a debt. Unfortunately for me, it hasn't turned out exactly the way I originally expected. After trying to give back in return for the benefits afforded to my hearing-impaired children, CHC has once again given me an incredible outlet leading to my greater happiness and tremendous sense of personal fulfillment. In fact, on the measure of giving back, I may actually have gone deeper into the emotional hole by just paying down interest when I should have been paying back principal. Yes, sure, I have utilized some of my favorite skills, and I have gained an array of new abilities in this role. Perhaps I have also shared some of my favorite vernacular and analogies too, but that's just vocabulary. More importantly, I have enjoyed, and this should really be present tense, the camaraderie of some great people, colleagues, whom I am proud to count as some of my closest friends as we have faced obstacles and morphed and strengthened this agency as it sets forth on its second century of service. But for me, this board, the quarterly meetings, the regular calls, the stream of emails, has become much more like a familiar set of family members. The beauty of a small nonprofit is that you can actually see the differences you make. And then when you attend an event like the annual CHC Feast, you hardly eat. You're too busy chatting and schmoozing because, after all, you know everyone. And that sense of pride cannot be matched. As my term of board president draws to a close, I'm beginning to realize that the prospect of truly giving back all of my personal gains from affiliation with this agency may, in reality, never be possible. I like to say that CHC doesn't have shareholders, we have stakeholders. So to all of the CHC stakeholders, I have really enjoyed my time as board president, and I thank you for the opportunity to serve this agency in this way. I have great confidence in our next board president, Barry Felder, and just as the examples of past board presidents, John Skopaz and Joe Lobato, have established, I look forward to continuing to serve this agency in other ways in the years ahead. So thank you.